Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and happy St. Patrick's Day. As you can probably tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, we're doing a St. Patrick's Day makeup look today. This is a very soft green look, so if you want to wear this to work or school, you totally can. There's no glitter involved and nothing fancy, so let's go ahead and get started. So to start off this look, I'm going to be filling in my eyebrows as I normally do. I did go one shade lighter than I normally do just because I am wearing a blonde wig, as you saw in the intro. I did change the shape a little bit, so I brought the arch up a little bit higher and started adding the powder a little bit further back. I have noticed that I got really heavy in the front of my eyebrows lately, so I wanted to make them a little bit lighter and just kind of diffuse the color in with a spoolie later. But I just brought my arch up, made it a little bit sharper like I said, and then added a little bit more weight to the top and really focused on outlining my brow and then filling it in and then softening everything up later. I'm just in a really experimental phase with my eyebrows right now, but the color I am using is from the Mad for Mattes palette from e.l.f. and just a little angle brush that I have. And then for the front, as you can see here, I'm just pushing the color up and in, but there's no additional product on my brush. So I'm just taking a bit of brow mascara and setting those brows down and also kind of shaping the hairs in the direction I want them to go. Mainly I push them up because I have thin brows. It just gives me a lot more volume to work with and makes my brows look a lot fuller. So now I'm going in with primer. This is my Pore Blur primer from Makeup Revolution, and I'm applying this with a sponge. I did this technique in my last video, and I really liked the way the primer sat on my skin and made it feel, and I think it really did press it into the skin more than just using my fingers, and a lot less bacteria and cross-contamination on my face, of course, because we're not using our hands, so I'm just pressing that on. And then, of course, using my Pretty Fresh concealer on my eyelids. Now, you're going to be able to tell that I used a lot of concealer on my lids, and that's because they were super, super dark today for some reason. I don't know why, but they were just really kind of purple and red, and I wanted to cover that up. And I also put the concealer in the inner corners of my eyes and brought it down a little bit. I'm just playing with my concealer lately, trying different techniques that I see people doing, and this is one I saw on TikTok that I wanted to try. So I'm just blending out that concealer with my sponge all around my eye and especially under my brow, so I have a nice clean surface to work with all these green colors, because green can be a really tricky color with shadows, especially if you don't usually use it. So I'm going in with this kind of khaki army green color on a fluffy brush, and we're just going to use this as our transition color. This is from the Division palette from Makeup Revolution, and you're not going to be able to see it on camera. This color is super subtle and super light, and that's why I love using it as a transition. It just gives us a nice base to work within when we are trying to build up a lot of different colors and, really shape the eye. So I just use this big fluffy brush to do it with because it applies the color really lightly and lets me move it around fairly easily. Now I'm just taking a shade on an actual crease brush that is about 2 to 3 shades darker, I would say, definitely more on the Forest Hunter green side, and I am just applying this to the outer half of my crease with this brush in particular, and then I am picking up a blending brush that has absolutely no product on it. It is just stained green from when I used it with some face paint, and I am using that to drag the color in across the entire crease. This will just make the crease a lot softer looking, and it'll leave that outer corner with a bit more definition and give it a nice sharp wing look. So I'm just pulling the product in towards the inner corner, and you can do this with a packing motion. This is all up to personal preference. So now I'm going into the middle shade on my Baby Yoda palette. It's this really cool sage green that I'm obsessed with right now, and I am packing this on the lid. And as I pack this on, because this is a matte shadow, I am just going to blend as I go, because this brush from BH Cosmetics is super good for packing and blending, especially when you just want something to be nice and soft in the crease. So as you can see here, I'm kind of blending and dragging it over and then applying more color. I've been working in layers a lot lately, and I think it's definitely helped the quality of my makeup, and I feel like I get a lot more color payoff doing it this way. So yes, we are just packing on with this big brush. If you want, you can always go with a more emerald green. I just wanted this to be kind of soft and a cross between like really dark shades that'll give a lot of contour and really light shades that will kind of pop against them. So something a little more soft and neutral this year, but I do have other tutorials where I've done, the full glitter and gold and all kinds of stuff. So now I'm just taking a big fluffy brush. Again, this brush is just stained. I've cleaned it like 87 times and it just wants to remain gray. But I am just using a white shade to go under my brows and highlight and set any concealer that may be up there, and also blend out any harsh edges that I see. This is why I love matte white shadow. It highlights, it blends, it conceals. It really does kind of all the work for you. And then going in with a lighter green shimmery shade, I am just packing this on my inner corner. This one is from the Aura and Out palette, and I can't remember any of the names of these shadows, but any sort of sparkly green shade you can add to the inner corner just for a little bit of pop and a lot more interest in your look if you're looking to make it just a little more glam. Now I'm going in with my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation. This is the same thing I use every day. Well, not every day. I don't do my makeup like this every day. But this is the one I use all the time. It has great coverage. I can't recommend it enough. It doesn't break me out. I don't have to use a lot of it to get the coverage I want. It's super good. And it works with a brush. It works with a sponge. It's a really great kind of put it on and go foundation. It has a really long wear time. I don't think it's marketed as a long wear foundation, but I think it definitely does. I've worn this for performances. I've sweat in it. I've worn it all day to different things. Like I wore this foundation at DragCon, and it doesn't move around. It stays in place, and it blends beautifully with the skin. And I'm pretty sure they have a decent shade range. So now I'm going in with the Pretty Fresh Concealer, and we're going to try some different concealer techniques today. So the placement may look weird at first, but bear with me. I promise it looks really good when it's all done. So I just did some dots under my eyes, going back towards my hairline, this weird little mustache, and then the spot on my chin, and then I decided to highlight my jaw, which I don't normally do, but I'm kind of learning more techniques with makeup, how to reshape my face, so I wanted to highlight it, and I think it made a really big difference. Right away, it looks very bright, but once you add the contour and stuff, it balances everything out. So I recommend trying it, especially if you have a really round face and you want to bring out your bone structure a bit more. But this is a very much trust the process moment. It's gonna look really weird, but I promise when it's all blended, it looks good, and it makes everything look super lifted and bright. I mean, this is a pretty light shade for me, but yeah, it just pulls everything up. So now on the under eyes here, I am using a dark, true kind of Kelly green. This one is from the Just My Luck palette. Again, I don't remember the name, but I am just smudging this on the lower lid and then pulling it up kind of to follow what I call my liner line. Basically, if I was doing a normal wing, it kind of follows that same trajectory from underneath my eye up, so that everything comes together and blends nicely. But we're not using black liner today. We are going to use this sparkly gold shade from my Baby Yoda Star Wars Mandalorian palette. I just put this on with a liner brush and it worked really well. However, if you used a wet brush, it would probably work a little bit better. but I just used it dry and I thought it came out really good. So you can do this if you don't want to weigh your look down with a lot of black shadow, or you don't want to use brown, or you just want a little extra sparkle without using actual glitter glue and glitter. Now I'm just going in with a little bit of mascara. I did put lashes on with this look. They were an Ardell faux mink that I cut down to be a half lash. So now we are going to contour. I've been progressively working my contour up my face, and I'm trying to get it to basically match that TikTok filter that everybody's trying now. And I actually like the way it looks a lot higher. I think it gives me a lot more definition. So probably the way I'm going to do my contour from now on and into the future. So look out for that. I did apply a little bit to my jaw. Like I said, we are trying new contouring techniques. And once that is all blended out, I just took a little bit of bronzer. I know Irish people are traditionally pale. I get it. I'm Irish myself. I'm very pale. I fry in the sun and look like a lobster by the end of the summer. However, this is my fantasy we're creating, and today we're going to pretend that Irish people tan. So I am just adding a little bit of bronzer to warm everything up, especially with the blonde, because it can wash me out really, really easily. So I'm just using my big fan brush, nothing heavy, nothing crazy, and not adding anything to the contour. And now I'm just adding a matte pink blush, and again I'm putting it a little bit higher on the apple of my cheek and bringing it back towards my hairline, so just kind of following my contour. So now, of course, we have to highlight. I'm just using Hippo from ColourPop, kind of that pinky duochrome shade that I've been liking a lot lately. I'm just applying this to my cheeks with a brush. Any ColourPop stuff goes on really well with a nice stiff brush if you are looking to use it but are afraid to use Super Shocks. And then a little bit on the bridge of my nose. I really like the way it pulls the focus of the eye there. And then, of course, we're using my favorite lip pencil of the moment. It is Nude from NYX, and this is going to be a repurchase whenever I run out of it. I love that it's retractable and I don't have to sharpen it. And I will say, even though this says it's nude, it does have quite a pinky undertone to it. So if you are someone who shades more towards a yellow undertone or maybe a red, this is probably going to come off more pink for you than actually nude. But the formula is super good, so NYX makes a ton of these, so you can probably find your shade. But now I'm going in with, I don't remember the name of this color, but it is from Half Caked Cosmetics. At the time that I got this, they were just called Caked Cosmetics or Caked Makeup, so they've changed the name over the years. But this is their nude lip fondant. And this is one of my favorite nudes. It does read a little bit more brown, but mixed with the gloss that I'm going to put on it, it's just perfect. The shape that it gives my lips is really nice, and this stuff does not settle into the natural lines of your lips. It just floats on top, and it's a really, really soft matte. So here is the look with the wig. I kept my little plaid headband on, even though plaid is technically Scottish. I threw it on because I thought it matched my shirt and it looked good with everything else. But then for gloss, if you've been here for a hot minute, you know this is one of my favorite glosses. I put it with everything nude. This is the NYX Butter Gloss, and it's either peanut butter or peanut brittle. The word peanut is in there somewhere. And I love the way it kind of warms up this lip color a little bit, and it all works. Like this lip pencil, this gloss, and this lipstick, liquid lip, whatever you want to call it, all work very well together, and everything just stays in place when I use these three. So if you're looking for a nude lip combo that just works for every day, I suggest that one. But this is it. So if you guys enjoyed the St. Patrick's Day look, let me know down below. I hope you all have fun celebrating and you are safe and responsible. Do not be drinking and driving. No thank you. We do not do that. It is 2022. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.